Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I am an airline pilot, and today we're going to talk about a question that is most relevant for the real-life cadet pilots among you. So you've completed your ATPL training, you have invested about 100,000 euros or dollars depending on where you are, and now you're looking at applying to the airlines. And many of you are going to come across job offers where you will see a self-sponsored type rating. And that may be either with a flight school who's just offering you the rating, promising you that if you are type rated you can apply with certain airlines, or some will be from airlines who say you can start as a first officer here if you pay for your own type rating. Now, let's quickly talk about that. First of all, should pilots have to pay for their type rating? In my opinion, the answer is a definite no, they shouldn't. You do the type rating with an airline in order to be able to fly that airline's aircraft. It is not fair that you actually have to pay for that. Imagine working, for example, at a bank, and starting at that bank, you of course have to learn how their company works, and you have to learn how the software works that they may be using. And can you imagine paying for that introduction into your new work? Because that is essentially what paying for a type rating is. However, we can of course say that it should be forbidden that a pilot has to pay for his own type rating. But the truth is, those offers are out there, and if you've just finished your ATPL and you're a cadet pilot, then chances are you'll probably have to pay for your type rating. Now, how much should such a type rating cost? Well, back in the day when I did mine, there used to be something between 25 and 28,000 for a 737 or an A320. And by now they're probably a little bit more, but I would say something around 30,000 plus minus a few thousand euros is okay. If somebody offers you a type rating for 50,000 euros, then that is a scam. Well, you are going to get the type rating, but still you're wasting money on it. So now let's say you're a cadet pilot and you are seeing all those offers. So what about them? Which ones should you accept and which ones shouldn't you accept? Now, we have to simply accept that the situation is out there and that not everybody is going to get a job with an airline that is going to sponsor your type rating. So you now have to think about, is it worth it? And let's have a look at the different kind of offers. There are some flight schools, especially from Eastern Europe, but also some in the UK, that say, come to us, do an A320 type rating, then you can apply with all those airlines who have the A320 type rating as a requirement to apply. Now, that is usually not a very good idea, because first of all, most airlines who require a type rating also require some hour on the type. And not simulator hours, but actual flight hours. And chances are you're not going to get them in your type rating. So, of what use is the type rating then? Simply of none at all. The only purpose it serves is to fill the pockets of whoever runs that flight school making that offer. So don't do that. Now, an entirely different situation comes when you have an airline that says, come to us, pay your type rating, then you get a job. Now, there are two different types of offers there. The first one is, come to us, pay your type rating, and then you can work for maybe a summer season without receiving salary. That's what we call pay to fly, and don't do that. Yes, you are going to get some flight hours. No, 500 hours is usually by far not enough to actually get some real options to get into some other airlines. 500 is the minimum they want to see. That does not mean that they are going to invite you. So don't do this. However, there is one more option. And some airlines, like for example Wizz Air, used to do that in the past. Ryanair is doing it in the present. Is you pay your own type rating, but thereafter you get a normal paid job. And that is something you should actually consider if you want to do it. And the reason for that is that, okay, you have to make that financial investment, and we talked about it earlier on, whether it's actually good to do that or not. And we have an opinion on it. There is no doubt we have an opinion on it. But facing reality, we probably have to accept that we have to bite the bullet here and pay that 30,000 bucks for the type rating. But thereafter you get that job, and you get a job with a good salary. That applies to both Wizz Air and Ryanair. Once you start working, you get a good salary from which you can make a decent living. So if you're being offered a job like that, being you, I would probably consider doing that. Now, there is one more option, and that is for pilots who are actually not cadets, but who have some flight hours already. There are still offers out there for paying your own type rating when you apply with a new airline. Now, should you do that? Well, we have to differentiate two types again. One of them is you just pay the whole type rating up front, and it's basically your money lost. I would not recommend to do that. There are always offers out there where you don't have to pay that money. So, of course, there may be differences, like that airline offering you pay that rating may have a base very close to your home. And if that means you can get that base close to your home, then you have to think about it yourself. And then you just have to know yourself if that's worth it for you. But there are also offers out there. And for example, Aerologic is doing that. The German freight airline, if you don't know them. And they say, we pay your type rating up front, but then over the course of the next 2 or 3 years, your share of the type rating is going to be recovered from your salary by deducting, for example, 200 euros a month from your monthly net salary. And that way you are paying back either the entire or the partial type rating. In case of Aerologic, you're paying back 7,500 euros as the pilot's share on the type rating that are being deducted from your salary in the aftermath. But you don't have to pay anything up front. In my opinion, that is an honest offer that you can think about. And that is something that is fair, to call it that way. Or at least it is the fairest that you will come across in the industry when it goes about paying for type ratings. Now, some of you will be interested in my own story. And my story is that I had to pay 5,000 euros upfront for my rating, and then got bonded with my airline for the rest of the type rating. And for every year that I'm working in that airline, my share of my type rating is reducing by a certain set of money. Now, I paid 5,000 euros up front. Most certainly I wasn't happy about it, but then again, it was a good deal for the time where I finished my ATPL training. So overall, I have to say that I'm quite happy that I got that offer. And of course I had to pay something up front, but nonetheless, the majority of it has been covered by the airline. And that more or less makes it alright for me. So, hope you found this interesting. Looking forward to see your comments below. And if you're a cadet pilot, or even if you're an experienced pilot, let me know in the comments what you think about this. And of course, if you're not a pilot, let me know what you think about it as well. So, thank you very much for joining. Hope you found this interesting, and I'm looking forward to see you all again soon. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.